Hey guys, it's Chris. From homes in historic districts to ancient castles, here are 8 cheap homes you can actually buy. Number 8. Dollar houses in Indiana. In Gary, Indiana, the town has a very soft spot in their hearts for homeowners who are trying to make a living, but can't afford a lot. To that end, they made the Dollar House program, a way for people to buy houses in the town for only $1. So was that foolhardy? Well, not so much. They're actually doing this to not just help people, but also help grow their town. You see, Gary used to be a big steel town in Indiana, but when those jobs dried up, a lot of people left the area. And so to that end, a lot of houses in the town were abandoned. So by offering them for $1, and some catches as you'll see soon, they're helping the town as well as the people. As for who gets the houses, there are some minimum requirements, mainly about income. You must make a minimum of $35,000 a year, but those who are able to apply are put into a lottery. The best part is that this happens every year, so multiple people get the chance to get these homes. The only catch is that once you get the home, you have 1 year to bring it back to habitable standards as the homes have been abandoned for some time. But the cost of rehabilitation isn't as much as it would be to buy a fully priced house and then do the same thing. Number 7. Vietnam vacation homes. Every country in the world has their own laws about buying property, and Vietnam was at one time the most strict country to buy land from if you were a foreigner. However, they have since rescinded those views, and now anyone with money can buy homes and property there, within reason of course. And many have noted that if you're looking for a good vacation home or area, Vietnam will give you a very good price if you know where to look. Naturally, there are places that have million-dollar price tags, but there are also plots of land that are massive and have a good home or two and won't cost more than $25,000. That's a fraction of what most homes in countries like the United States and England cost. Plus, most of the cheaper houses are near local population centers, so you won't have to travel that far to get what you need. But it only gets better, because as any vacation homeowner knows, buying a vacation house is one thing, but maintaining it is really hard. To that point, Vietnam has lots of low-cost food, and labor can be purchased for pennies on the dollar. So if you're looking for a new place to live without breaking the bank, Vietnam may just be your destination. Or if you're hoping to get a place in Vietnam on the cheap, there are many places in the country that have rental fees that are under $100, including simple rooms just to sleep in, to cabins and manors and cottages. And now for the Italian castles you've all been waiting for. But first, have you subscribed yet? Be sure to subscribe before you leave, because we have lots of new videos coming up. Number 6. Italian castles. Who hasn't wanted to live in a castle? I sure have. That's the dream of many, especially when they're young, and Italy decided to allow people to live out that dream by giving away 100 castles for free within their borders. These were legit castles, and the government truly did give them away, if the new owners promised to do one thing. The state property agency who helped organize this wanted these castles to not become regular living areas, but rather places where tourists can come in and enjoy themselves. Random? Well, not so much, because the castles in question were located in key spots where tourists honestly love to go in Italy. So with these new reformed castles, it could lead to even more business and even better, even more money being spent in the country. The project will promote and support the development of the slow tourism sector. Roberto Reggi from the State Property Agency told the local Italy, the goal is for private and public facilities which are no longer used to be transformed into facilities for pilgrims, hikers, tourists, and cyclists. Those who get the properties will be able to run them for 9 years, and they can get their contracts extended if they do a good job. While initial applications for the initiative have long since expired, there are more coming, as another 200 castles are expected to go up for sale. So if you're in the market for a castle to own, you should definitely be paying attention to Italy. Number 5. Country house in Bulgaria. Bulgaria is home to many places that are available for purchase for under $5,000. And in return, you'll not just get a home, but also a great area to expand. For example, this particular home near Vrastra, Bulgaria is one that's able to be purchased for only $2,030, with taxes and other expenses more than likely. But this isn't a cheap home that's just available. It's a nice country home, one that features a barn and other small facilities. The real catch of this purchase is the 1,000 square meter plot of land that comes with it, which will give you plenty of room to expand and grow in any way that you see fit to do. There used to be fruit trees that grew there, and there's a garden on the land as well, so farming is an option. Location-wise, it is in a pretty abandoned area in regards to people. Vrasta is 60 kilometers away, so you won't have to worry about city life interfering with your way of life. One small note, the house itself will need some renovation as it's been abandoned for many years. But even with all new or transferred furniture, the total cost of everything will be a fraction of what other countries ask for in regards to the same plot of land. Number 4. 1904 house in Chicago. On the surface, Chicago will appear to be one of the most expensive cities in the United States, as the average cost of a home is about $82,000. However, just because that's the average doesn't mean that every home is at that price point or even close to it. In the south side of Chicago, there was a house for sale that was a 6-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that only cost about $5,000. The last time it was sold, it was only $4,850. That means this house, which is still within one of the most populated cities in the United States, costs 94% less than the standard house in Chicago. That is really impressive. Granted, the house was being sold as is, and there was some obvious flaws in regards to being boarded up and such, but with some cheap labor and other simple things, the house could be fixed up to be quite nice. This house sold within a very short amount of time. But if one such house like this resides in Chicago, it goes to reason there could be another, so you just have to be willing to look for such a place. Another option you might consider is foreclosure purchases. Not all will be cheap, but there are some out there right now that can be bought for under $15,000. Number 3. Quito, Ecuador. Ecuador as a country is one that is steeped in history, and a lot of that history is tied to the United States of America. To that end, Ecuador does a lot of things that America does. And in the town of Quito, they have actually made the American dollar the currency of their town. This was done to help stop inflation, but it also allows for Americans and others who have the dollar to come in and buy a lot of things for very cheap prices, such as houses and more. It's said that you can go to Quito and actually buy a condo for less than $50,000, which is just a steal. And given that the area is very popular with local people and tourists, that means you can buy it, then rent it out, and make your money back in no time flat. Other houses in the area are just as cheap, so whether you're looking to make money or looking to make a new home for yourself, Quito's a very cheap place to invest in. Number 2. Cambodia. The country of Cambodia is known for being very inexpensive. And not just in their homes and properties, but in pretty much everything else. In regards to homes, you can buy a rather large house for less than $20,000. And that's for a 3-bedroom home, and it has you on an acre or even 2 of land. That's a very small cost compared to other nations and their lands. In fact, everything is so cheap in regards to labor and upkeep that many will buy a house in Cambodia as a vacation home and leave it in the hands of their gardeners or housekeepers and just not worry about it because the cost is so low. To that end, you could rent out the home and make some serious money off it when you're not using it. So if you're curious about upkeep costs, here's some figures. Getting a full-time housekeeper will cost you only $1,200 a year, and a gardener is only $2,000 a year. So for less than $25,000, you have a home that's owned, perfectly kept and managed, and just ready for you to live in year-round or whenever you need a vacation. Number 1. Italian homes in Ololai. If you were to hear of a home in a foreign country that was for sale and that you only needed to pay $1 for it, you'd be right to be skeptical for a whole host of reasons. However, there's a very reasonable explanation why the town of Ololai in Italy is doing this. And they're not just doing this, they're doing and did this for 200 houses in the area. Ololai is owned by Italy, and it's on the island of Sardinia, And this island has plenty of homes that need owners because the previous owners all abandoned them. So Italy came up with the Case 1 Euro project, where it offers these homes for $1 to help fight dwindling populations, as well as getting people to help keep these historical properties up and not falling to ruin. The area where these homes are is actually really quite beautiful, as they're surrounded by nature in various ways, including forests and fields that have sheep in them. The homes themselves are stone in construction, and some even have paintings on the walls. The fresh air, zero smog, and great views have a healing power. My bones and back don't hurt anymore. Vito Casula, who recently bought one of these homes, told CNN. If you're still waiting for the catch, well, there's a small one. Mainly, many of these houses need work, but you don't have to fund it all yourself. Grants can help you get 60% if the potential project's funded. And the locals have also agreed to help refurbish them. After declaring applications open for the project, over 100 of these homes were apparently claimed. Well, thanks for watching. What did you think of these cheap homes? Would you be up for living in any of them? How about a castle? Do you know of other such cheap homes in the world? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.